Welcome to Health Hour, a session for you by Black doctors, hosted by the Caribbean and African Health Network. Ever sat in a doctor's office thinking they just don't get it? Or search for health advice online, but you can't understand it? Felt unheard? You're not alone, and you found your solution with Health Hour. Every Saturday at 11 a.m. This is your space where Caribbean and African healthcare professionals speak about health with a focus on Black people. We tackle the topics that keep you up at night: mental health, chronic conditions, preventive care, sexual health, men's health, women's health, heart disease, and much more. All with the cultural context that matters, because our Black doctors understand the unique challenges we face. Here is what you can expect: real talk from doctors who look like you and get it, lived experience testimonies, practical advice, illness prevention and management tips, and a space of understanding without judgment. You also get to ask questions. Your questions drive the conversation. Health Hour, where community meets Black health expertise.
Hello, and welcome to this session of Khan Health Hour. I'm delighted to be invited to host today's event. My name is Robert Goddard. I'm a maxillofacial surgeon who's based in the northeast of England. I'm based in Hull. I've previously been on Health Hour, must be about 3 years ago, and it's good to see that the program goes from strength to strength. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's guest. It's Dr. Jedidah Mould. She's an associate researcher at the University of Manchester. She has a focus on public health and nutrition, and she's strongly into research in those areas. She's very committed to supporting vulnerable communities, and it's a pleasure to have her here. One of her chief topics is that she's highly motivated by the idea that if you get nutrition right early in the first 1001 days, very precise figure, it is likely to lead to long-term health benefits. So, without further ado, Dr. Jedidah Mould.
Thank you, Robert. Hi, everyone. Just want to say thank you to Ka for inviting me to this Health Hour event, especially at this meaningful time of the year, getting to Christmas. I'm sure some of you met me at the recent events, the Mansac recent events, where I presented on culturally tailored nutrition. And so this is just a follow-on or a follow-up from that, but this is more linked to enjoying our festive food in moderation. And as Robert said, I'm a researcher, I'm a lecturer, I lecture as well. But mostly do research at the University of Manchester, and I work for the NIHR, which is the National Institute for Health and Care Research. And I've got a background in public health nutrition, but what I'm majorly doing in my role at the NIHR is to help researchers to make their research methods inclusive. And in doing so, the research findings can be applicable to the general population. But today I'm here with a nutrition lens, a nutrition focus, talking about jingle bells, gravy smells, and enjoying our festive food in moderation. So if it's okay, I'm going to share my screen, and please let me know if it works. Are you able to see my screen, please?
We can indeed.
Great. So as the festive season approaches, everyone is excited, everyone is happy. There's going to be a lot of gatherings, there's going to be a lot of food, a lot of chocolate, exchanging gifts, and all that. But how do we balance all these holiday treats with mindful eating habits and eating in moderation? So, like I said, it's not just about eating. The smells in the kitchen, the pots on the stove, the family gatherings, the laughter, and also the memories attached to this festive season. And for us as Afro-Caribbeans, food is deeply entrenched in our culture. It shows how we love. It shows that we are hospitable. We use it for celebration, and it's also show when we share food. It also shows that we care. And so my talk today is not. I'm not going to talk about dieting. I'm not going to tell you to cut some food
Oh, very good.
from your festive diet, because I know it's not going to be possible. It's going to be hard. So I'm not going to tell you to restrict things that will make you feel guilty. I'm just going to show you how you can enjoy your festive foods in moderation, the same foods that you eat, or the festive foods that you eat in moderation, while also protecting your digestion, your energy, your mood, and even your health, because you are what you eat. So the main aim here is to leave you feeling empowered and not judged, or not feeling, guilty, and to make you confident so that you can enjoy your festive season and also feel well. Great. Please let me know if you are able to see the next slide.
We
Okay,
can.
so why does moderation matter during the festive season? Moderation matters because during the festive season, our routine changes. A lot of people take time off work, people spend time with friends, at home. We eat later, we eat more, richer food, we eat more frequently. Some people take more alcohol during the festive season. Some people take more sugary drinks and soda during the festive season. And because we've taken time off work and spend time more at home, there's less activity, and so we move less. And sometimes there's less sleep, because the festive season is when people use that time to catch up on all the movies and all the seasons they've lost. So a lot of people also spend time, relaxing in their couch and sleeping less. So sometimes during this festive season, because we are eating more, drinking more, snacking more, eating more richer foods, a lot of people notice symptoms such as bloating, constipation, acid reflux, and you feel sluggish. Sometimes there's even fatigue and headaches because of these habits during the festive season, because the routine has changed. And sometimes people tell me it's as normal. Oh, it's Christmas. It's Christmas. Let me just, it's just Christmas. But you have to bear in mind that what you eat later on will pile up as weight gain. And sometimes it becomes really difficult to lose that weight you gained during the festive season. Because some studies have also shown that during the festive season, people gain between 0.5 to sometimes even 5 kilograms during that festive season break until the new year. And so while the festive season in itself is not the problem, it's the combination of the rich foods, the large portions, and the constant eating that can put stress on our digestive system. And sometimes even the blood sugar regulations and energy levels are affected. So the key message here is that we don't have to remove our cultural foods, which are diverse, which protect our health. We just need to balance it. We just need to moderate. We just need to time it, and we just need to be aware of these things that I'm going to talk about. If you came to the last session, the Mansard session, you would have seen the slide. And why is it important for us as Afro-Caribbeans to eat in moderation during the festive season? And even also, it's not just the festive season. I mean, I'm concentrating on the festive season because there's a lot of overindulgence there. So why is it important for us as Afro-Caribbeans to, moderate our diet in the festive season? Moderation enables us to, enjoy our traditional foods without feeling guilty. It supports our physical health and our emotional health. And this is important for us as Afro-Caribbeans because conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, heart diseases, and digestive issues are higher. The risks for us are higher compared to other ethnicities. So that's even more important to, moderate the food we eat during these seasons. And as you can see on the slide, this is the prevalence of total hypertension among adults in the UK by ethnic group. And you can see that the highest is among Black Caribbean and Black African groups, as you can see here. Now, this slide is showing the risk factor contribution to death. And as you can see, I've pointed on this arrow here, the dietary risk is the highest contributor to death annually. And this is from the BMJ, the British Biomedical Journal. And so it also goes to show that what we eat can significantly affect our health and also lead to mortality. So the highest contributor to death is dietary risk. Now, as we move on, what are some common mistakes we make during the festive season? One of the biggest mistakes people make during the festive season is thinking they must avoid certain foods altogether. And like I said from the beginning, I'm not here to tell you to restrict. I'm not here to put you on a diet because it's Christmas. No, I'm not here to tell you to restrict, to not eat certain foods or avoid certain foods because it's Christmas. These are foods you've been eating throughout the year. So if I tell you to avoid them, it's going to be really difficult. And I'm not here to label certain foods as bad, because that also leads to guilt. Our Afro-Caribbean foods are healthy, they are diverse, they are nutritious. And so what matters is how often we eat them, how much we eat them, and what else is on our plate. The combinations of food are on our plate, how often and how much we eat them. And when food is enjoyed, so mindful eating, I'm going to stress mindful eating here. When food is enjoyed mindfully by sitting down, eating slowly, that is one thing I had to teach myself, because sometimes you are so busy, you just eat hurriedly. And there is a rule that when you are chewing, when you take a bite of food, you are supposed to chew it between 20 to 30 times. And I'm tempted to ask how many of us here online chew our foods like 20 to 30 times. I don't think most of us do that. But that is the recommendation. If you sit down, you do mindful eating, you eat slowly, and you stop eating when you are comfortably full, it really helps us to avoid the mistakes we make during the festive season and eat in moderation. So there's also that myth. Usually when we enter the new year, people write down the resolutions. I'm going to reduce the amount of food I eat. I'm going on a diet. I'm going to make sure I exercise frequently in the new year. But there's a myth that says that if you want to develop a habit, it takes 21 days. So actually, this is the time. That New Year resolution, start doing it now. Start putting it into effect now. Start practicing it now. So if you want eating moderation to be part of your life throughout the new year, this is actually the time to start, because there's a myth that says it takes 21 days to develop that habit. And that new year, new you can start now. This is the Eat Well guide for Afro-Caribbeans, and it shows it was developed to reflect the foods that are familiar and culturally relevant to us. So you can see yam there, you can see potatoes, you can see green leafy vegetables and all that. And it shows how much of what you eat overall should come from each of the food groups. So as you can see, when you are putting food on your plates, majority of it should come from fruits and vegetables. Then there are your lean proteins, your fats and oils, your dairy, then the starchy carbohydrates like potatoes, the yam, and plantain and all that. And the Afro-Caribbean Eat Well guide adapts the standard healthy eating model to reflect our traditional foods, and helps individuals to make it helps us to make informed choices while also enjoying our familiar dishes. And the guide, so what I want to say here is that the guide is not about perfection at every meal. Even though we recommend that you do this, you try and have this picture when you're serving yourself at every meal. It's about aiming to balance most of your meals, most of the time. Now, I've said that our foods are diverse, they are nutritious and everything. But what I want to say here is that we've got to honor the foods we have. Most of the time, because of acculturation and the nutrition transition, sometimes we tend to add certain products or certain foods, processed food to ultra processed food to our diet, which are not part of our traditional diet. But one of the things you can do to stay healthy and eat moderately is make sure you are incorporating our traditional foods in our diet. So the contomere, the callaloo, the spinach, the herbs and the spices, our plantain. Include this rich and diverse and nutritious foods in your diet, and it will help you maintain a balanced meal or a healthy Christmas a healthy bowl during the Christmas season. Now, what is portion control? One of the tips you can do to enjoy the festive foods without feeling guilty and also to eat in moderation is portion control. But usually, I've come to find out as a nutrition that people usually misunderstand what portion control is. Sometimes they think eating tiny amounts and starving yourself and feeling hungry is portion control. But portion control can be using a smaller plate instead of the usual big plates, we usually use to serve ourselves. You can actually be intentional and go for a smaller plate and reduce the portion size that you would not naturally, eat. Because feeling full, it's a communication between your brain and you. So it's the brain, the nerves send the message that you are full to your brain. And sometimes because we eat hurriedly and we have, that big bowl or that big plate, we want to consume everything. But once you use a smaller plate, you take your time, you take your time to chew the food, you eat mindfully, you would see that your hunger cues are reduced and the brain sends, the nerve sends that message to your brain that you are actually full. And one of the things that help is that if you want to eat moderately and stay healthy during this festive season, start your meals with vegetables and salad. Because they are fibrous and high in fiber, they help you to get full before the main meal comes. And this makes it easier to control your portion sizes of the richer foods. And like I said, eating slowly is one of the most powerful tools for moderation. It allows time for digestion and the hormones to signal fullness. Then there's also, if you've got desserts, like I said, you usually receive gifts of chocolates and sweets and savories. If you've got desserts, make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Share with your family. But if you pile them in your home and they are in your kitchen, trust me, you'll be tempted to take one. Anytime you go into the kitchen and you see it, trust me, you'll be tempted to. Even sometimes, me as a nutritionist, it's so hard for me to control it. You'll be tempted to take one anytime you go into the kitchen or anytime you see it. And by the time you realize, by the time you realize, in the new year, you realize that you've eaten like 6 boxes of chocolates because sometimes it becomes hard to, ignore them. And the one plate rule can also be helpful, especially at parties. There are going to be a lot of gatherings, family gatherings, parties here and there. What you can do is to tell yourself you are going to stick to the one plate rule. Because usually at parties, when the buffet is set and the table, we see lots of food on the table, we are tempted to go once, twice, and sometimes even 3 times. And some people can even go more than 3 times. But if you tell yourself you're going to stick to the one plate rule and have everything on that one plate, sometimes it avoids you. It helps you to eat in moderation and it avoids constant refilling out of a habit, but that habit of constant refilling your food, and it makes you get fuller, feel fuller with just that one plate. The other practical tips we can also use during this festive season and even throughout is that we can balance our festive meals. And balancing festive meals doesn't mean removing our favorite foods from the plate. It just means adjusting our preparation and our combinations and our portion sizes. So sometimes when you are eating your eba or your starchy carbohydrates, like I said in the previous session, if you're eating, some people call it swallow, some people call it eba, some people call it your mashed potatoes. It's just the size of your fist that you need. And the rest of the plate can be filled with vegetables, lots of vegetables and your lean protein. It's just the size of your fist. But usually the carbohydrates or the fufu or the eba or the starchy carbohydrates or even the rice and peas, it feels like 3/4 of our plate. Then the vegetable side is just 1/4, then a little bit of lean protein. It should be the other way around. It should just, the starchy side should just be your fist. And choosing to grill your meats, to roast, steam, or air fry rather than frying in deep oil can also help. And if you take a heavy lunch, you can go for a lighter dinner. It really helps. And you will find that as the Christmas season gets over and as you enter the new year, you find that you are feeling better in yourself. You feel lighter. Your mood, becomes better because you've adjusted and you've moderated, what you eat. And health is about patterns over the days and weeks. It's not just a single meal. So health is about patterns. Consistency matters more than perfection. So it's better to be consistent over a period of time rather than doing it just once and getting it right for that just one time. It's always important to bear in mind that consistency over a period of time is better. And there are some smarter cooking methods you can choose. Like I said, grilling, air frying rather than deep frying, using vegetable oils, reducing the amount of palm oil you use. And those bouillon cubes that are high in salt can be replaced with herbs like thyme. You can use garlic, ginger, smoked paprika, chili to enrich the flavor. And also, you can make nutritious ingredient swaps. In the festive season, alcohol intake is higher, the sugary drink, the soda is higher. You can make swaps and reduce this and use reduced fat cheese. You can go for your skimmed milk in when you are baking, using your skimmed milk, using less fatty, margarines and, reduced fat butters and adding vegetable to your meals. Then also making, so for instance, if you're making puff puff or you're making rum cakes, use the healthier oils, use healthier options, reduce the sugar in them, and make them in smaller quantities so that you are not tempted because you do not want to waste the food and you've made them in huge amounts. You want to finish everything. So make them in smaller quantities so you are not tempted to eat everything. And even share. You can share with your friends and family. Share with the homeless people. That also, it makes you actually sharing with homeless people and those who do not have families to spend the Christmas with, makes you even feel better and affect your mental health or your mental well-being positively. These are still some practical tips you can use. Another practical tip you can use during the festive season is to stay physically active, and the World Health Organization has recommended a physical activity level of 150 minutes of moderate physical activity the whole week. So that's about 30 minutes of moderate physical activity. And this doesn't mean going to the gym every day. Once you finish your meal, just doing 100 steps, you stand up and you do 100 steps can increase your metabolism and help digestion. Washing the plates yourself rather than putting them in the dishwasher can also help to increase your metabolism and aid in digestion. You actually feel better walking around the house, and sometimes just putting on your favorite music and dancing to it after a meal. You dance with the family, you play some games that you do not sit down, maybe, I don't know, musical chairs, whatever games that will help you move around, going up and down the stairs in your house, moving, about, taking a short walk. And I prefer the dancing. Just put in your favorite music. It's Christmas. You've taken time off work, put in your favorite music, dance with the family, have fun. And after your meal, and that will help you be in a good mood. It will increase your metabolism. It will increase digestion, and you will feel good, in yourself, and help you to also maintain your weight during the festive season. And alcohol. So it is recommended that in a week you take 14 units of alcohol. So that's 6 pints of beer or 6 glasses of wine or 14 shots of a spirit. But one of the things you can do to limit alcohol consumption during this festive season is to alternate your alcohol with water and limit the sweet mixes. Or sometimes when you go out to parties and there are mixes with alcohols, and choose the ones that have less alcohol concentration with them, and tell yourself you are going to have alcohol-free days during the week. So today it's no alcohol for me. I'm just going to stick to my fruits. I'm just going to stick to water. And that will also help you to cut down your alcohol consumption. And once you taking lots of alcohol can raise your blood, pressure, and it can lead to weight gain, because one kilocalorie of 1 gram of alcohol is a lot of kilocalories, and it helps you, it makes you gain a lot of weight. So cutting down on alcohol during this, making it a conscious effort to cut down on alcohol during this festive season is really important. And the tip here is try and have alcohol-free days during the week and alternate alcohol with water. Now, there are some natural doctors you can use to feel better during this festive season. The physical activity, it will help you control your blood sugar. It will aid in digestion. It will reduce bloating, and all that. Then the mental well-being focus. You prioritize rest. Sleep is a medicine, trust me. Even though in the festive season, we want to catch up on all the seasons and the movies we lost throughout the year, it's really important that you reduce your screen time and sleep well. Sleep well during the festive season. It's a natural medicine. And hydration, make sure you hydrate well. Water helps you to, also feel fuller. Water has no calories. Water Water will not make you gain weight. So it helps. Combining water with your meals will help you feel fuller and reduce the amount of food you eat. So prioritize rest. Gratitude, show gratitude to your friends and family. It helps, your mental well-being. Have some social connections which reduce stress. Go out and help some charities. I know the Salvation Armies, they usually seek for volunteers because they invite the homeless and those who do not have anywhere to spend Christmas. You can go there, or you can even go on the streets and give out some of the treats you get, from friends to these homeless people who do not have anyone to spend Christmas with, and it will help boost your mental well-being. And so, getting to the end of this, as we finish, there are some key messages I want to bring across. Let's celebrate our culture and enjoy our food joyfully. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel you're supposed to cut out don't restrict yourself. Eat in moderation. Have a balanced plate. Remember the Eat Well guide that I showed to you, because food is part of our culture and food is part for who we are. And always aim for balance. Make sure the vegetables and the fruits are taking a higher percentage, on your plate, and it will help to support your digestion, your energy, your mood, and have realistic changes. That New Year resolution, New Year, New You, should start now. It shouldn't start in the new year. Start now so that it becomes a habit. And remember that health is a journey. It is not a destination. And consistency, matters. It's not just eating and having a balanced diet. Moderation is not just a one-day thing you do. It should be a consistent thing you do. And so I want to thank Ka again for this wonderful opportunity to share my nutrition knowledge with everyone and to make sure everyone is, eating moderately during this Christmas, season, and compliments of the season. So sending lots of love to everyone. And any questions? I'm going to stop sharing now. Cheers.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Mould. I'm sure our audience found that as fascinating as I did, and there will be loads of questions. And if they haven't got any, I've got plenty of my own. Let me look on the chat and see the nature of some of these questions. Let's just open some of those up.
Doctor, there's a lady with a hand up.
Oh,
She'd
sorry.
like to make a verbal question.
Okay. So this is Joyce. If Joyce, you'd like to go ahead. It's a question for Dr. Mould. I'm not sure how she can be unmuted. Perhaps our technical support can help out there. I did try and unmute. Is Joyce still there?
We're just resolving your
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for all the information. Really, really great to hear. I guess my question was, at Christmas time, quite a few people will be traveling to see different family members. And so what is your advice regarding if you are, let's say, a married couple that are going to visit one set of parents and then going to visit the other set of parents where there might be food? Well, there will be food. So how do we really, manage that? Thank
I
you.
think great. Thank you for your question. Such a great question. Sometimes making your family aware that this Christmas season, make them aware that you've been trying to moderate your food and maintain a healthy weight. So making them aware that so that they don't feel like you are neglecting their food, you're not enjoying their food, just make them aware you've been on a journey. And so you're trying to stick to it and not go back to old patterns. That will be really helpful. And sometimes when you share this nutrition knowledge with them and they become aware of the importance of moderation during the festive season and how it can even affect your health and your mood and your mental well-being, they also come on board with you, actually. So the food will be there. Tell them about what you've learned here today. Tell them you are on a journey. So it's not that you don't want to eat or you don't want to enjoy their food. Eat with them. I mean, stay there, eat with them. But also like the tips I made, if you've got your one plate rule, try and eat that throughout the session you are on the table with them. So if you usually have dinner between maybe 6 and 7 or 6 and 8, try and eat that during that. And instead of have your water by your side, and encourage them to also do the games. Tell them, oh, I think it would be nice if we dance after dinner. Let's dance some music. Let's have some games and move around. That can help as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
I think from a personal point, I recall being in Trinidad and having visit after visit to go from one house to the next over the Christmas season. And it was always a thought, how are you going to get through this in terms of the food? And a lot of it's about planning ahead, expecting that you are going to have to be invited to eat some food. And I think the vast majority of people kind of feel a bit insulted if you don't eat anything, but they're not insulted if you just eat a tiny amount. So that's a personal reflection. I'm not sure if anybody else out there has had that experience and would like to share. Oh, Joyce has Joyce is just a thumbs up. Great.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions, or should I start giving some of my own? While we're waiting for another question, just going back to your research and this idea of the 1001 days. And the reason I bring this up, because the festive season, it's family time. And it's not just the adults, but it's also the children too.
Yeah.
We haven't touched upon management of diet with children. And I just wondered if you could give us a little bit more in terms of your views, in terms of how to manage that extremely tricky situation of managing a diet of children over the Christmas period.
All right. So, like I said, the first 1001 days for a child is a critical window of opportunity for growth for children. So, I mean, for children who are 6 months, the WHO recommends exclusive breastfeeding. But for those who have started complementary feeding, usually when children are with you on the table, they would like to eat what you are eating. And so, or sometimes they start with their own foods. What you can do is try and just give them a bit to taste, to nibble on, and all that. But so for their blends, I know a lot of children eat blends of vegetables and fruits that are mixed together. That is really healthy that you can give to them. I wouldn't advise giving sugary drinks to children below in the 2 years. It's of no use to them. So try and give them, the fruits that they like. Make them, and they can have. I mean, if you've got cake on there, you can give them just a bit of that to eat. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. But like I said, because the first 1,001 days or the first 1,000 days are a critical window of opportunity, please make sure they are eating well, they are eating healthy, and also make sure you are not feeding them with unhealthy things. A lot of processed foods, especially because sometimes the mothers don't even have time during the festive season to really cater for their children. They are cooking a lot. They are meeting up with friends and family, and sometimes they forget about the children. So, like you said, even meal planning and meal prepping for the kids, making sure that the children's food are always, available, set, and ready to go, also really helps. Yeah.
Certainly, in the first 3 years of life, you're almost setting standards that it kind of sets up children for what they're going to do in the future. But then as they get older, they get more influences from their peers and what's going on in the schoolyard. And again, you've touched on the first 3 years really well, and very much natural products wherever possible, avoiding processed foods, which is actually very beneficial for us as adults, because if we then go, okay, my child is under 3, I need to go back to more natural foods, then it's excellent health for ourselves. What about that time from 3 to 16, for want of a better term? Any tips with regards to management of those specific dietary requirements, on top of the fact that we as adults want to indulge a little bit as well? So how would you go about that? What advice would you give?
Yeah. So one thing I've observed is that children copy a lot. They learn a lot from what they see. So as they spend time with you as parents, with us as parents, at home, they copy what they see you do. And so if you are someone who tries to maintain a healthy lifestyle, eat healthy, they actually see it and they copy it. But sometimes, like you said, they've got peer pressure. They copy what their friends do and, have some unhealthy habits. So like I said, even though they copy, they can have these bad habits, learn these bad habits from their peers and from their friends. But once they come home and they see what you do, they will copy what you do. And usually the mother is the one who cooks for the family. So you determine what's going on the dinner table. So that is where you can influence what your children from that age gap to 16 that you mentioned eat. So number one, you can influence what they eat by putting the knowledge your nutrition knowledge and what you've learned, into practice at home, and making sure the dinner table and what you feed them is healthy. I think the other thing is sometimes they are not aware that what they are copying from their friends is actually not healthy and can actually affect their health. So you teaching them, transferring your nutritional knowledge to them also helps. And I think the other thing will be to make a conscious effort to ask them the sort of meals they take when they go out. Now there's that school break, but usually when they go to school, they spend about 6 to 8 hours in school, and sometimes you don't know what they eat. I think you should be intentional to find out as parents or as carers what your children eat and try and advise on that. Yeah, and sharing some of these, this is recorded, so it can be shared with them, for them to see the importance of staying healthy during this season. Yeah.
Now, the questions are coming. Now, I want to link that a little bit, because you're talking about children and cooking, and I think it'd be interesting. Any tips with regards to the teaching of kids for cooking? And it links very nicely with Natasha Perez. From socials. Are there actually healthier ways to prepare classics like fried plantain or stews without losing the authentic taste?
Oh,
Difficult
yes.
question, because it's very much a cooking question, but it's very intimately bound with nutrition.
Yeah, there are actually. and you'll be amazed. So the usual, for instance, fried plantain, like the question you asked, usually we deep fry them in oil. But try this. I tried this and I really loved it. So cut your plantain into thin slices, put it in the air fryer, spray some oil over it, and add some. So one will be plain. If you want to get that original, authentic taste, just spray some oil over it, and it will come out tasting the same way as you fried it. But what have you done? You've reduced the oil content in it, which is way healthier than deep frying it. And the other one you can do is once you've cut them into thin slices, you smear it with your herbs and your natural spices, and that takes it to another level. So whoever is asking this question, try it and put it in your, spray some oil over it, put it in your air fryer, and you are going to love it. You are really going to love it, which is a way healthier option than frying it in the oils. Yeah. And I think with the first part of your question is, how do you teach them? Invite your children to the kitchen when you're, let them take part. Let them take part as you're, oh, can you cut this for me? While they're cutting the vegetables, they see the carrots, they see the okra, they see the beans, and the combinations. They also learn and they pick it up. So that's another tip. Yeah.
I must say I'm very passionate about that one, because I think as time goes by, we're seeing adults who are struggling to actually cook anything at all, myself included. But going back to the kitchen. Now, Joyce has actually put something else in here, and that is with regards to the slides of your presentation. Are they going to be accessible? In particular, I think it's slide 11. I suspect it's the slide that shows you all the food types.
Slide 11.
I suspect it's the pie.
Oh, the African Caribbean Eat Well Guide. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think this recording is available on YouTube and on Facebook, isn't it?
Yes.
So but I can. Okay, yeah, and I can share that particular slide with Natasha, and they can share it with anyone who wants. But the recording is available on YouTube, and it's also available on Facebook, so people can go back to it. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's called the African and Caribbean Eat Well Guide. That's what it's called.
Well, without further ado, I'm going to get to some more questions, because I'm seeing the time zooming by, and I want to get through as many as possible. Is it better to drink water whilst you are eating your meals, or not at all?
So there are different published articles about this. So some researchers believe that when you take water before you eat, so 30 minutes before you eat, that's actually better, because once you mix your food with water, it dilutes the digestive enzymes. That's what some researchers believe. But I mean, when you're eating during your meal and you need water, you can sip just sip some water. But if you can take the water before 30 minutes before you eat, you have your meal, then I mean, sip if you need, but then after that, you can also have some water. I think that's what I do. That's what I do. But there are different school of thoughts. Yeah.
Okay. Time's running, but I want 3 more questions to put to you. And the last one is a biggie, which I think a lot of our audience are going to want to have answers to. The first of the 3 is, I want to start with the year with a juice cleanse, just healthy, clean juice and 1 meal a day. Is this good? If so, what's the best time to have the 1 meal?
So it depends. So different people have different underlying health conditions, and then so maybe you take medication and you would have to eat with your medication. But assuming everything is normal, if you are taking 1 meal a day plus, and what do you mean by healthy juice? What is healthy juice? I'm not sure what.
This was a question put in the social, so we can't get back to them. So I think you're going to have to interpret that as you see fit. Whether there is such a thing as clean juice, I'm not sure myself. I'm not sure if you have that. I think that when you talk about things in moderation, everything is good. Water will kill you if you drink too much of it. But I'm not sure what your view on
Yeah,
that?
I'm not sure what the person means by clean juice. Yeah, and so I can't comment on that. But if you want to have a well-balanced diet of eating one meal, one good meal throughout the day, for a healthy individual, no underlying health conditions, and it's not going to affect you in any way, just make sure your plate is balanced. You can use the Eat Well guide, have most of a higher proportion of it being from fruits and vegetables, have your lean proteins, make sure you have a meal from the 5 food groups and make sure it's balanced. And I think you'll be fine. But I can't comment on the clean juice because I don't know what that means.
I suspect that there's some kind of talk about whether it's circadian rhythms or in terms of the timing of eating, but I'm not really aware that if you're doing it long term with one meal a day, that it makes any difference if you're doing it at night or in the morning, because you're still having that starvation period.
Yeah.
I've got 2 more questions. Firstly, I feel bloated. Often I cut dairy and it's better, but over the holidays I started to wonder if it's gluten. How to test it?
How to test for gluten?
I think it's really how to test for gluten intolerance, dairy intolerance. Yeah.
So I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't tell how to test that for gluten intolerance but if you eat certain foods like dairy and you feel bloated, you could be lactose intolerant, So it will be best to go for lactose-free options. But for testing for how you are gluten intolerant, I'm not sure. I think you can speak to your GP.
From a medical person,
Yeah.
I would say person should be directed to their GP.
Yeah.
They will take a history, just as you can take a history as to what things agree with you and what things disagree with you, and then they will hopefully be able to focus their tests into which areas to investigate. But I think the first stage is the GP. But certainly, if you're having dairy products and you're feeling bloated, and you cut out the dairy products and you don't feel bloated, diagnosis is confirmed, really.
Yeah.
And the last question, because I've got 3 minutes left, I understand, and I think this is a really important question for a lot of us out there, and that is, please could you advise us about maintaining sugars for diabetic people during the festive season? And I think it's not necessarily purely about sugars, it's about managing the diabetic diet.
Managing the diabetic diet. So if you are diabetic, your GP or whoever has put you on certain medications that you take. But there's something called glycemic index of foods, which ranges from 0 to 100. And the glycemic index simply means how the food you take impacts your blood sugar levels once you take them. And so different foods have different glycemic index. And for someone who is diabetic, as a nutritionist, I would recommend you stick to the lower glycemic index foods. So your whole grains. I mean, most of our foods, our traditional foods, are actually have low glycemic index, and they do not spark. And what you can do is, once you are having those meals, your vegetables, your beans, your lentils, and your lean proteins, combine these and eat them in moderation. Take your time to eat them. Combine them, which can affect the glycemic, further reduce the glycemic index. But usually, what you can do is to stick to the low glycemic index foods, which most of our lentils, our beans, our vegetables are really low in, like the callaloo, the spinach, the contumely, and all that have really low glycemic index. Yeah.
Yes, I suspect that question has probably been put forward by someone who's fairly recently become diabetic, because long term, especially type 1 diabetics who have been diagnosed as being diabetic from childhood, they've gotten used to how to manage their diabetes. But it tends to be those people who are newly diagnosed, whether it's type 1 or type 2.
Yeah.
And it's a very difficult one to sort of manage that whole diabetes thing, and it's going to be very much long discussions, lots of trial and error with discussions with the GP and dietitians helping with the management of the diabetes. I actually have absolutely loads of other questions, but unfortunately, I think we're pretty much out of time. I would just like to say that some of the points that Dr. Jedidah has raised, I think, have been exceptional, especially from a practical point of view. The fist. I love the fist to help practically work out how to manage my calorie intake. Just as I love having a smaller plate, so I think that's fantastic. You did raise points about activity and mental activity and sharing. I particularly think sharing of food is wonderful because it does significantly help you to reduce. One thing you didn't touch upon, which I have a bit of a thing about, is mental activity in terms of doing things to distract oneself. The busier you are, I think there's less likely chance that you're going to be munching. So if you're going to start watching a film, may I suggest that you watch something that is in some way intellectually stimulating, that at least keeps you concentrated without you stretching over for the popcorn.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think we're going to have to wind up the session. I understand that one of the members from Khan just like to hand over to her. That's a Leona, who's part of the HR team, just to close off the session.
Hello, everyone. I am Leona, the HR and Volunteer Officer at CAN. On behalf of CAN, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Jedidah Mould for that insightful and practical session on how we can enjoy our African and Caribbean foods during this festive season. So there are a couple of points I picked from his lecture today. So she's reminded us of how we can adopt a mindful eating habit by chewing slowly, how we can make good use of portion control by not taking our big plates that we always feed with, but trying to maintain a smaller plate, and also making good use of our staircases in the house to prevent or reduce our risk of acquiring cardiovascular diseases. And to you, Dr. Robert Goddard, thank you so much for excellently coordinating today's health hour. Your participation and engagement with both the speaker, that's Dr. JD, and our audiences have made things so smooth for us today. And to all our audiences on the call today, I say a very big thank you to you all for setting aside time to join us. You've been with us, or you've stuck with us from January up to this point. We are so much grateful. Before I wrap up today's health hour session, I would like to share my screen and give a couple of announcements. Kindly hold on a bit for me. Can you all see my screens, please?
So not yet, just a mouse.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, now.
Okay.
We can see it now, but it's not on the first slide.
Oh, sorry.
if I might suggest, if you press in your keyboard the arrow backwards, it should go backwards one.
Yeah, but it's not allowing me.
Oh, I see. Sometimes it happens. Would it be helpful if I try and share the slides and then you tell me
Okay.
if you wanted to skip? Okay, give me 1 second. I will just open it. If you stop sharing, should be ready in a second.
Okay. Our next health hour session would be on the 10th of January 2026 at the same time at 11 to 12 o'clock. Natasha, next slide, please. Okay, so are you or do you know someone who wants to stay safe and warm during this winter season? Can, in partnership with Cadent, is offering some support to everyone who is interested in this. So we are offering support. We are offering benefits and money support. We are also offering free energy advice to lower your bills. We are also giving you an extra help during power cuts and then carbon monoxide in order for you to stay safe. In case you are interested in this, kindly scan our QR code that you see on the flyer or kindly email us at ribc@can.org.uk. Next slide, please. Okay, Can, in partnership with NHS Northwest England, is hosting a leadership conference dubbed Rising Together. Rising Together is a leadership conference which brings together health professionals at all levels, including nurses and midwives, students, senior leaders, policymakers, educators, and anyone committed to equity, inclusion, and interested in promoting a fairer career progression. If you are interested in this leadership conference, registration closes on Friday, the 23rd of January 2026. So kindly register using the link below at www.can.org.uk/rising together. Natasha, next slide, please. Okay, so we want to change the health outcomes for people in our community. That's the Black and Caribbean individuals in our community. So if you are a pharmacist or you own a pharmacy team and you want to change the mode of doing things, we are offering a Black Health Improvement Program that you can enroll on in order to change the health outcomes of our people in our community. If you are interested in this, kindly contact Dr. Sekinat or contact us at bhipenfield@can.org.uk for these sessions. Our annual Black Health Care Awards, which honors the enormous contributions of Black health professionals, which comes off on the 4th of July 2026, has nominations open up. If you are interested in nominating yourself or someone who has made a positive impact in our community, kindly use the QR code by scanning the QR code you are seeing on our screen or contacting Black Healthcare Awards at can.org.uk. Thank you very much to you all. Health Hour returns on the 10th of January 2026. Before we leave, I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Bye-bye to everyone.
Well done. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
And that's our time for today. Whether you joined us on Zoom, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, thank you for making the Health Hour part of your Saturday. We hope today's session gave you the right dose of health wisdom that you can share with your friends and family. When we share knowledge, we strengthen our entire community. Mark your calendar. Next Saturday, same time. Got a topic in mind? We want to hear from you at health@can.org.uk. Health Hour, hosted by the Caribbean and African Health Network.